Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the podcast. It has been over a year since the last time I recorded a podcast, and honestly, it only feels like a couple of weeks ago. Time is playing a very weird role at the moment in terms of how fast it's going, the meaning of it. Yeah, it's a conversation that I've been having with many people. The way we're perceiving time at the moment, but I won't dive into that right now. That's for another time. But yes, I am so excited to be back sharing podcasts, insights, life and cosmic updates. And yeah, I just find so much joy and connection through sharing my own experience, what I have been studying and learning at the moment. Yeah, what lessons and blessings that I've been receiving. Because I feel that if it's affecting my life, if it's benefiting me, then if it helps one other person, well, then that's what it's meant to do. So today I want to talk about the sacred pause and the sacred pause being over. So last January, February, I decided to close a lot of things in my life. I decided to close the rose code that I had been pouring my heart and soul into my online women's community since COVID, since the beginning of COVID. So it was running for nearly 5 years. And it was really hard to come to that decision. Um, but I knew in order for it to complete its purpose that I needed to create space for something else to emerge. And that's the beauty and the lesson of a pause. It's when we let something go, we create something, a space for something even better to be birthed. But I couldn't see it really at that time. And, I felt this big sense of loss, like, this connection that I had built with all of these women and the space that we had created together and our monthly lives and connections and, the community space. But there also comes a point where everybody has to go their own road and take what they've learned from the community and the experience and integrate it into their life. Yeah, so I trusted it was for the highest good. But it was so hard to let go of something that you've built and poured so much into, and then suddenly it's no more. Um, but yes, something else has been percolating and growing in that space, which I'm very excited to share with you very soon. Um, and with the sacred pause and deciding to step back, it was for many reasons. For my own personal healing and development, I was embarking on one of the most transformative and biggest trainings of my life, which again, I can't believe it was a year ago, was the Tao Tantric Arts training in Mexico that I had been longing to step into for so long. I think I came across Taoism and Mantak Chia back in 2017. And he has a healing center in the north of Thailand. And yeah, I really did try my best to get there and train with him, but it never happened. But my two teachers, Minka and Shashi, they actually trained with Mantak Chia and met on his training, and they from that training created Tao Tantric Arts 15 years ago. So I wanted to train with the best of the best, and I certainly got that. So yeah, last March I went to Mexico and spent a whole month in the Tao Tantric Arts, feminine embodiment, sacred sexuality, and yeah, I really, really wanted to do it for myself first and foremost, because there were so many questions that I had about the feminine, and I've been working on the divine feminine, um, but my own journey with the divine feminine and also sharing it with my clients and students for a long time now. But I just felt that there was something missing. I felt that like I wasn't being shown all of the answers, and there was a deeper layer that I needed to access, but I couldn't really get there by myself. So that was one reason why I signed up for this training, was to really immerse myself in the sacred feminine arts and embodiment. And I wanted to uplevel my skills in trauma informed facilitation and space holding. And yeah, I wanted to know more about holistic healing for the feminine in menopause, menstruation, fertility, womb healing, ancestral healing, because this all has such a massive impact on women's health and why we suffer so much and why medical science doesn't even acknowledge this aspect. So I really felt like there was a gap in support of women's health and well-being, because I've worked with so many women over the years who have suffered miscarriage, sexual abuse, feeling disconnected from their sensuality and sexuality. Um, yeah, and just not having the answers and not having the support and the systems to support them in finding their way back to their femininity. And to be honest, I didn't have the answers either, but I was getting the questions. So I felt it was my duty, and also for my own feminine journey as well. It's like there's so many mysteries and there's so much to uncover and there's so much suppression around it. I just felt this massive calling to dive deeper into it. And by God, did I dive deep. Yeah, I knew it was going to be a very, very intense, transformative training. Um, so before I went into it, that's why I had to close my one-to-one containers, the rose code. I moved house and county before I went into the training. Like there were so many endings before this new beginning could happen. And as much as the first 2 months of 2025 stripped me to the bone, um, I had complete trust and faith that it was making space for this new cycle to emerge, because I'm coming into a decade in my business. And that's massive, like 10 years of space holding, of healing sessions, of retreats, of workshops, of trainings. It's massive. And I feel like that 10-year mark, that decade, um, was a turning point for this new way to emerge, or this up leveling. So yeah, I had full trust and faith that even though I felt like everything around me was ending and crumbling, and there was so much fear and anxiety and uncertainty, there was a part of me that also was like, this is all going to be okay. And not only okay, it's going to be better than you've ever imagined, because you've wanted this and you've asked for this. But even though it doesn't come in the way you may have perceived, um, it does feel scary and it does feel overwhelming. But again, you've asked for it. You've asked for the change. You've asked for, the answers, and you're getting them. And sometimes they come gently, and sometimes they come more abruptly. um, so yeah, I knew that to fully receive this training and to um, immerse myself in it completely, I had to make sure that I didn't have any distractions. Um, so yeah, a month in Mexico was definitely initiation. Um, and I went in with the intention to give it my all and not to hold myself back. Um, yeah, because I don't know if it's an Irish thing or um, maybe it's a universal thing, but it's like sometimes we can have one foot forward and another foot back, just in case um, we want to run away, or just in case we want to hang on to the old, or just in case we don't want to be too much. That can be always a thing. It's like, don't be too much, or, don't shine too brightly. And, it can be a conditioning from our families, our environment, our religion, or the place where we grew up. Yeah, and it can be very, very deep rooted. And until we step into these containers where we're pushed to our edge, um, maybe we're not aware of them. But these conditionings and programs can be driving forces and obstacles and blockages in our own life in the simplest of ways, like how we show up in our career, our relationships, or just in our day to day life, where we don't go all in and we don't shine as bright as we can, because there's that program there in the unconscious, and we're not even aware of it. So each week of the training, I definitely had a metaphorical death where I completely dissolved, and yeah, it's so hard to describe exactly what I went through and what transformations happened, but it was definitely the best thing that I've ever done for myself. And would I do it again in the morning? Absolutely. Has it taken a long time to integrate? Yes, I'm still integrating it. Still finding it hard to put into words. Um, but I definitely needed that sacred pause and to create that space for myself. Because at the end of the training, then the day before I was due to come home, I was bitten by a dog, attacked by a dog while I was cycling my bike. And before that happened, I was all gung ho. I was like, I have so many aspirations when I get home. Like, I want to share this new knowledge and this new wisdom, and like this, I want to facilitate this, that, and the other thing. And when I got bit by the dog, like I've never experienced anything like that before. Never had a fear of dogs. Like grew up with Alsatians and big dogs and love animals and love dogs. But that really put a spanner in the works for me in terms of dealing with this new fear. Yeah, and like if you know me, you know that I love to travel, and when you travel to these more exotic places, there's wild dogs and street dogs everywhere. And I never really paid much attention to it before, but it really started to hinder my sense of freedom. And even walking on the street here in Ireland or anywhere, if there was a dog off a leash, like I would start shaking and I would probably cross to the other side of the road, just in fear of that this dog is going to bite me. And I'm sure if you've had an experience like that by an animal or anything, that you just think everything is going to attack you. And it really put into perspective to me how like fear can really rattle us. And I really did feel unsafe for a long, long time. Um, so that sacred pause and creating that space was definitely needed. And, you know, I do believe everything happens for a reason, and I still don't know the reason for the dog bite. But yeah, it was definitely a good few months of living in survival mode. And even obviously, I had to get loads of rabies injections and antibiotics, and they can wreak havoc on your mental health and um, yeah, your system, especially like I don't take any medication whatsoever. So my body was really gone into a state of shock. Um, and yeah, there was a lot of healing and a lot of processing for that, as well as trying to integrate the whole training that I had just been through and where I wanted to go with my life and my career. And oh my God, so many questions and so much uncertainty. Um, so yeah, I suppose many of us in 2025 experienced that shedding element of the year of the snake and letting go and that death and rebirth situation. There's very little people that I met that had a glorious 2025. There was a lot of tears for many of us, a lot of heartache and heartbreak, and so much change. Um, but again, I do believe it all happens for a reason, and it's how we choose to pick ourselves up and continue. Um, and as much as the year was painful and uncertain, there was so much joy and there was so much excitement and celebration. And it really showed me, one, how kind people are and how important family and friends are. And when you're really struggling and suffering, like it is so important to have good people around you. And they're just so willing to help. Like the amount of help, I could even cry now thinking of like how good everybody was to me and supportive. And you know how hard it is to ask for help and support sometimes. But yeah, there's times where we're on our knees and we have to cry for help, you know, and support, and to really let that in can be challenging sometimes, and to not feel guilty for asking for the help because you know there'll be one day where that person might need a hand and you'll be more than willing to lend your support. So yeah, definitely learned a lot in terms of how important family and friends, community, um, and also trusting in the path and trusting in yourself. Like I shared before, when I started to close things in my business, there was a part of me that was clinging on saying, are you mad? Like you've worked so hard to create this. Like, you know, what if nothing else comes in its place? You know, what if your clients don't come back? And, you know, it's important to trust, especially when you step into your life's purpose, that you will be supported no matter what, but you still have to put in the work. But you also have to trust that that inner guidance that, yeah, maybe it is time to let things go and close things to create space for new things. And there's always that buffering period between one thing ending and something else becoming. There's that space where there's that pause or there's that gap. And many of us begin to fear that this gap is going to last forever or that nothing will fill it. And sometimes that gap stays around for a week, a month, in my case, a year, where there's nothing. And, you know, there's a lot to be learned in that, and there's a lot of medicine to be extracted from that. And being able to sit in that and sit in the fear and sit in the darkness, you can only come out stronger. And it is only within that void that you can hear the message and to hear the wisdom that was there, but you're just too busy or too distracted or you're spinning too many plates to even get a whisper of what is there. Um, so yeah, there was a lot of patience cultivating over the last 12 months and deep integration, like with this type of embodiment, feminine work and training, like you do need a lot of space and time to do your own self practice and embody that before you can share it. And I've been sharing a lot of the work, my one-to-one clients and in my retreats and workshops. Um, and it is really helping my clients and students to access deeper levels of healing in a much more embodied way. And I definitely feel like over the years with the different trainings that I've done, some of them have lacked that deeper embodiment work, such as nervous system regulation, trauma informed space holding, and the integration piece. Like that was a big takeaway for me. It's like we all want that activation and we all want that like high impact and powerful transformations and powerful practices. But nobody wants to sit and integrate those powerful experiences because it's boring, because they just want to cling on to the next high or the next activation or the next opening. And when we are continuously jumping on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, we're not actually integrating the previous healing or session or whatever it is that you've just been through. And what I've learned is as much activation and work that you do, you have to do at least twice as much integration. And that's just sitting and allowing things to percolate, sitting and allow things to drop from the mental plane into the body. Otherwise, it just becomes a nice experience that you've had, or it just becomes a memory. And we're just constantly filling ourselves up with more and more information, but not actually embodying anything that we have learned, because learning and embodiment are two separate things. Learning something stays in the mind, but embodying something is like being able to tie your shoelaces or ride a bike without thinking about it. So there's a big difference between the two. And we're in an age of information where there's just so much information, and a lot of it is good information, and obviously there's a lot of misleading information. Um, but that's another reason why I wanted to take a sacred pause, is because there's just so much noise, and I didn't want to add to the noise. So that's why I stopped the podcast. I stopped all of the moon updates and things like that, because I was like, I just don't want to be part of um, that big loud noise that is out there and all of this information. It's so overstimulating and so overwhelming. So yeah, I definitely feel that I went into like a cocoon or a little shell for a little while, just to figure life out and myself out and what direction did I want to go. And yeah, it took me a very long time. But I definitely needed that time and space, and I've been working away quietly in the background on different projects and making new connections and yeah, implementing things that are really important in my life and my support system, and letting go of things that are not. And unless you create space and time to do that, you just keep going. And sometimes there is a need for that, and sometimes there's a big calling just to stop everything and do the bare minimum and create that space and time. Because what happens is another 5 years, another 10 years, a decade can roll by and you're like, oh my God, what just happened? Like, where did that time go? And what have I been doing with my time? So self-reflection is definitely a big important piece. And I've always done it. But I don't think I've ever given myself that much grace um, and time. And yeah, I suppose a big life overhaul and a big audit needed to be done in order to see where I wanted and envisioned the next decade to go. Um, so yeah, here I am, April 2026. And I feel like I've been in a time warp or a time machine. But it's been good. It's all been really, really positive, and really fulfilling. And yeah, I'm excited for the future. And I feel that there is this fire that has been reignited. And I feel like I have so much to share. And I feel ready. Ready for what? I don't know, but just ready. And yeah, new opportunities are coming in that I've written down and put on my manifestation list and my vision for the future, and now they're coming to fruition. I was like, oh my goodness, like it's just so powerful to daydream and to manifest things, because once your subconscious sees that, it's working away in the background to make that happen. So never stop daydreaming, never stop reaching for the stars, and yeah, just keep pushing yourself gently to your edges. And I always say, on my last days on the earth, my only regret would be the things that I didn't do. And yeah, I feel like just saying yes to the things that are scary and yes to the things that you feel are impossible right now, and just really seeing what you're capable of. So 2026 for me is definitely a year of saying yes and showing up and seeing, yeah, seeing what magic can unfold. And I'm definitely seeing a lot more collaboration and need for bringing communities together, and dissolving that sense of separation. Because, yeah, when people come together and communities come together, there's such a greater impact. Um, so I'm really loving and leaning more into that this year. And yeah, it's been so nice. And surrounding yourself with like-minded people and people that cheer you on and support each other, it's, yeah, it's invaluable really. And um, if you're feeling alone on your journey, or you're just beginning your journey, just keep surrounding yourself with more positive, aligned people, and people that inspire you. Like, I have so many people that I look up to and admire, and it's like, yeah, just keep surrounding yourself with those type of people, and not comparing yourself to others, but be inspired by them. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share today. I just wanted to get that first podcast out, and yeah, maybe it was a bit rambly and all over the place, but we're working with progress rather than perfection. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for listening to the end. And if you have any suggestions or anything that you would like me to focus on or talk about, or topics or themes or questions that you have, please put them in the show notes, or get in contact by email or Instagram. And yeah, I look forward to sharing more podcasts, more insights. And yes, I have an exciting training that I am embarking on next week. I'm going to Copenhagen to train as a breathwork facilitator, which is something that I've wanted to do for so long. So yes, another training. Because I am just, yeah, I love training and upskilling, and yeah, always a student. So maybe my next podcast might be about breathwork. But I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for tuning in and being with me today. And I look forward to connecting with you on the next one. Bye for now.